everyone, it's Tuesday, December 2nd, and we're gonna do Clues by Sam again. And if you don't know what Clues by Sam is, it's a daily puzzle game where you have 20 people, each one may be a criminal or an innocent, and you gotta figure that out using the clues that they themselves give you. And if you want to play the game before watching the video, there is a link in the description. I encourage you to try it and then let me know how it went for you. But if you just want to follow along, or if you're stuck and you want some help, then we can go start right away. Let's start with Sophia telling us that exactly 2 of the 4 innocents in column B are Ike's neighbors. Okay, so column B has 5 people, and we know that 3 of them neighbor Ike. 2 of those 3 are innocents, and the other one is a criminal. There's only 1 criminal in column B, so all of the people who don't neighbor Ike have to be innocents. Right. And I guess we don't need Sophia's clue anymore, but I'm gonna leave that there in case I need to remember. Bonnie now tells us that column A is the only column with exactly 3 innocents. Okay. That doesn't really help us, or does it? Not yet, so let's look at Vance's clue. Helen is one of 2 innocents above Rudolph. So Ellen is an innocent, and there's another 2 people above Rudolph. One of them has to be the second innocent, and the third one has to be a criminal, but we don't know who is who yet. Now Helen tells us that both innocents in row 1 are connected. So now we know for sure that Donald is a criminal, because if he were an innocent, he wouldn't be connected to Bonnie, who is also in row 1 and is an innocent. So we know that Donald is a criminal. Lisa then is an innocent, and Chuck and Amy are both, one an innocent and the other one a criminal. Now both. And now I don't need Vance's clue anymore. Or Helen's, I guess. Now Donald tells us that there are more criminals in row 1 than row 2. And we know that there's 2 innocents and 2 criminals in row 1. So row 2 has to have only 1 criminal or none. How do we figure that out? How do we figure that out? I don't know yet. So let's look at Lisa's clue. Exactly 2 innocents in row 4 are neighboring Zara. Well, Zara only has 2 people neighboring her in row 4, so both of them have to be innocent. Both Peter and Rudolph. And that clue doesn't tell us anything else, so what else do we know now? Oh, we know that column A is the only column with exactly 3 innocents, so column D couldn't have 3 innocents. If Zara were to be a criminal, then that would be the case. So Zara couldn't be a criminal, which means that she's an innocent. And now Zara tells us there are exactly 2 innocents in between Ike and Lisa. So there's 2 people between Ike and Lisa. Both of them have to be innocent. Nice. And since we know that there has to be 1 criminal in column B, then we know that either Frank or Olivia are that criminal. But we don't need Zara's clue anymore. Now Kevin tells us that a non-number of innocents in column A are Frank's neighbors. Frank has 3 people neighboring him in column A. And non-number of them have to be innocents. It couldn't be 2 of them, could it? I guess it could. Because if 2 of them were criminal, then column A could still have 3 innocents if Amy were to be an innocent, and Nick, of course. But if both Ellie and, let's say that both Ellie and Ike are innocents, then Amy would have to be an innocent too to make an odd number, and then there will be 4 innocents in column A, and that can't be because column A only has 3 innocents. So only 1 person here is an innocent. And if only one person here is an innocent, where's the third innocent in column A? It has to be Nick. So Nick is an innocent. That's what we figure out with that clue. That's nice. I like the way of deducting that. Where's that? Kevin, right? Now Nick tells us there's an odd number of criminals neighboring Kevin. So that's for sure one criminal here. Frank or Olivia, the neighbor's Kevin. And there's no way for Kevin to have 3 criminal neighbors because the only neighbor left is Gus. And if he were a criminal, that would be 2, which is an even number. So Gus is also an innocent. And now we know that, oh, we don't know yet. We're on track for row 1 having more criminals than row 2. But again, it could be that row 2 has 0 criminals. Gus now tells us that exactly one pilot has an innocent directly below them. Where are all the pilots? Down here. Well, Vince and Wally are both pilots, but they have no one below them. So Peter has to have an innocent below him, which means that Wally is an innocent. And we don't need any more pilot clues. Now Wally tells us there are more innocents than criminals between Amy and Donald. There's only 2 people between Amy and Donald, so if any one of them were to be a criminal, they would be in the same number, criminals and innocents. So Chuck can't be a criminal, which means that he's an innocent. And we know that Amy is a criminal. Now Ike and Ellie are one or the other. Now Amy tells us that Zara and Ike have an equal number of innocent neighbors. Zara has 3 innocent neighbors, so Ike has to have 3 as well. And the third one is for sure gonna be either Frank or Olivia. So we have Nick, Jane, that's 2. Frank or Olivia, that's 3. So Ellie has to be a criminal as well, which means that Ike is an innocent. And because of Ellie being a criminal and row 2 having to have less criminals than row 1, we know that Frank has to be an innocent and Olivia a criminal, and we are done. So that's it, less than 7 minutes for this medium one today. Yeah, pretty happy with that, and that will be it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to let me know if you did play, and I'll be back tomorrow with more clues by Sam. See you tomorrow.